We're now going to switch to creating single time delta objects in Pandas using these two options. It's going to work analogously to creating timestamps, which we just did. So you have the toTimedelta function and then the pd.timedelta constructor. So toTimedelta is analogous to toDateTime. This one has a little bit more options and probably the one you're going to use most often. This is just the constructor and is a little bit simpler with less options. So let's see how the toTimedelta function works. So as with toDateTime, you can just give it a string. You can say, all right, I have, remember this is an amount of time. We're not going to give it the year, month, and day. We'll say 14 hours, 55 minutes, and 45 seconds. So this is one way to create it. You can actually put days in here. You can say 3 days. You have to put the word days over here, and that will do that. You can put a part of a second. That will also work, and add that part of a second. You can also put in a number. So again, this will just be nanoseconds. It's not relative to an epoch. It's just some amount of time. And you can change the unit to whatever you want, say seconds. So this is 100 seconds. It'll convert it for you nicely. So that's pretty cool. So you can have like 899 seconds. What is that? You can put decimals over here. So very cool. You can make this into minutes or hours or whatever you want. So that, yeah, that should actually go down here, converting numbers to time deltas. All right, so I want to cover the attributes and methods. So again, it's the same as you've seen in the data frames with the DT accessor. So you can get all of the same thing. You can do .days to get these attributes, hour, okay, so to get you have to do components first, and then from the components, you can actually get the hours, minutes, and seconds, and so forth. So it's a little bit hidden. You don't get it exactly from TD, although you can get days, so that's a little odd. Total seconds is an interesting one. So this will give you the total seconds is obviously different than just the seconds component over here. Gives you all of the seconds for all of this time. So all of this 29 days and 9 hours. It'll calculate all of the seconds. All right, so that is the attributes and methods. And then just like we learned before, we're looking at time, the constructor time delta, it does operate analogously. So you can just be able to do the same thing over here. The only difference is that this will always create a single time delta, whereas toTimedelta can actually create a sequence of time delta. So I can show that just quickly over here. So if we create a list and just have another one like this, we need to give seconds. So you can't just give. So the notice is 34 hours. This actually converts to 1 day. 10 hours. Anyway, so it does work. It creates this time delta index, not in a very important object. Just think of it as like a sequence or a series of values that are all time deltas like that. Okay, so again, use the toTimedelta function over time delta constructor as it just has a little bit more capabilities. All right, so that's how you can create time delta objects in Pandas.